and I want to give you a quick tutorial on how to look for your Shopify items that are not syncing to Shopify. The first thing you're going to do is open Counterpoint. Over here in the left navigation, click Connectors, click Shopify, and open Shopify Items. It's important to open Shopify Items this way when you're trying to do a filter and look for a whole bunch of items at once. If you have a Shopify Items window open from an item record, you'll only be able to see that one specific item. If you open Shopify Items, and you'll see here that we've got Shopify status. The Shopify status can be one of four values. It can be 0, which means that the item has already synced, nothing is pending, nothing about it has changed that would cause it to need to resync the next time the connector runs. A status of 1 says that the item does need to be synced, hopefully on the next run, unless you've got a whole bunch of items in your queue. A Shopify status of 2 says that it is currently in the queue to be synced. It is actively trying to sync that item right now. And this is the new one with the Shopify 2.1 upgrade, 9. 9 means that the sync of this product failed. It is not connected with a product on Shopify. It's in error status and it needs your attention. These are the ones that we're going to look for specifically today. So to look for items with a Shopify status of 9, we're going to set a filter. If you're not familiar with setting filters, it's pretty simple. You just come up here, click on the funnel icon. Your filter will most likely look like this when you first start with it. The first thing you'll need to do is make sure that you add in Shopify status as one of the conditions that you can filter on. To do that, right click here, click customize. Then you have this gray text that says click here to add a condition. If you click there, then you can click on the first condition that pops up, Shopify ID. We want to change this one to Shopify status. If we click on that word, sorry, it popped up on my other screen, you can change it to Shopify status. You can also click on these words here like equals and change them to something else as well. Right now, we just want to leave this as equals. Maybe you want to add in some other conditions. You can actually just keep clicking here. It'll show you all the conditions you can possibly ever add. If you right click and click simplify, you can also save this filter you've created so that it's always there for future use. Maybe you want it to be your default filter. You want this to be the screen that opens. Right click again, save as default filter, and click through these screens to say, yes, that's what I want to do. Now we're going to look for items with a Shopify ID of 9. Oh, sorry, a Shopify status of 9. Click OK. We can use these forward and back arrows to look at all of our items that are in a Shopify status of 9. Here we only have 2. If we wanted to see a list of our items that had this Shopify status, we could use this icon here, this table view icon. If this doesn't exist in your bar, you can click edit and click table view. If you want it to be in this bar, talk to your care team. They can show you how to edit these bars. So if I click table view, it'll give me a whole list of my items. If you have a very long list, this filter usually will only display the first 1,000 items. So if you need to see more, you can right click in this top bar up here and click export data. It'll give you the option to export your data as a CSV file, which you can open in Excel to get a whole list of your items that are stuck in this status or in any other status or have any other filter parameter that you've set. I'm going to go back to looking at this individually. So the first thing we're looking at here is an Empire apple. These are some very old apple varieties. And we see that it has a Shopify ID. For some reason, it has an error. Let's use Control C to copy this Shopify ID. Open up Shopify. We're going to search for our products here in this bar. Plug that in. No products are found. So that tells me this Shopify ID does not exist in Shopify, which is the crux of the problem. Let's see if the product itself exists. Oops. We do have an Empire Apple in Shopify, and this is the one that I want it to connect to. So if I open this and I look here, I see that that Shopify ID is wrong. It doesn't match what's in Counterpoint. We need to take the Shopify ID from Shopify and put it in Counterpoint. So I'm going to highlight it, Control C to copy it. Come over here. You can unlock this, delete the Shopify ID that's in there currently, set it, and save it. If we go to our next item to look at, we've got this Golden Delicious apple. Let's see if this Shopify ID exists in Shopify. We'll go back to our product screen. We will use Control C to copy here. Again, we're going to search and filter in this bar. Again, it doesn't exist. Let's see if we can find it. We do have a Golden Delicious apple in here. Again, wrong Shopify ID. What is the cause of the wrong Shopify ID? Typically, it is that you have created the item in Counterpoint, but you have not, and you've created it in Shopify, but you did those two things separately. You didn't create it in Counterpoint first and push it up to Shopify. Very often, someone has created a product in Shopify, forgetting that they need to first create it in Counterpoint. Occasionally, it's also because an item is deleted from Shopify, and so it no longer exists on Shopify. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios that could happen, but I would say those are the two most common. So again, if we want to reconnect this item, we'll go Control C. We will edit this one, Control V. As soon as I click Save, there will be no more items for a status of 9 because when I click Save, it's going to change the Shopify status to 1. So it's going to pop up and say, essentially, congratulations, no more items match the filter. We don't have any more that have a status of 9. So that's great. Maybe now we want to check and see what items are in a status of 1. What items are going to be synced to Shopify soon? Again, we can do the same filter. If it looks like this, we're going to change the Shopify status to 1, click OK, and we can flip through and we see, oh, we've got several items here that are in a Shopify status of 1. The next time we run the connector, these will get updated to a 2 while it's running, and then they'll get set back to 0 as soon as the sync has finished. Again, at this point in time, you can either use your Run Shopify connector button, or you can just wait until the sync happens on its own, which happens once every 15 minutes. These items will get pushed up to Shopify, and then you can come back and check and make sure that the Shopify status is back to 0. Please reach out to us if you have any questions about this process. We want you to be able to find your items that have an error status. That's one of the reasons why we developed this new Shopify status field, so to give you more visibility. We want to be able to help you clean up your connector so that everything is syncing just as you expect it to. Thanks.